Welcome to Let's Play, a presentation about facilitating play with your child at home. This presentation is brought to you by Amanda Gagnon, Lawrence Guest, Victoria Locane, and Kristen Weston. Mr. Rogers once said, "Play is often talked about as if it were a relief from serious learning. But for children, play is serious learning. Play is really the work of childhood."
During this presentation, you will understand the development and stages of play, learn more about how families can facilitate play at home, acquire strategies for improving communication during play, discover how play-based learning occurs in the classroom, and affirm that play is how children learn best during early childhood. What is play? Play is enjoyable and fun, spontaneous, essential to childhood, imaginative, interactive, a way to practice new skills, and it's how children learn best. Play is not isolated, competitive, comprised of screen time, automatic, it's not less important than academics, and it's not completing worksheets or workbooks. Simply put, play is how children learn. It helps children learn and practice social skills, including sharing, taking turns, and teamwork. What play is not? Children should be engaged, creative, and thinking during play. They should not be isolated, pressured, or fixated on a screen or a worksheet.
First, let's dive into the development and different stages of play.
When can you tell a child is prepared for play? Children are ready for play when they have joint attention, curiosity about the world, awareness of self, awareness that you can make things happen, and enjoyment and motivation in activity. And obviously, if you spent any time with children, you know that this happens very early. Listed below are the stages of play during a child's development. Stage 1 is solitary play. Stage 2 is parallel play. Stage 3 is associative play. And Stage 4 is cooperative play. The first stage of play is solitary play. What does this look like? Your child is content to play alone. They're not interested to play with others. This type of play teaches your child to entertain themselves and foster independence. So what should you use when your child is in the solitary play stage? Puzzles, trains, cars, blocks, toy zoo, play kitchen, etc. So anything that entertains them that is not in need of a partner. Well, you might be asking yourself, if this stage of play is solitary, how can I help my child during this stage? Well, you can help your child by encouraging them to choose their own toy, sitting with your child and model how to appropriately use the toy, praising your child for playing with the toy, and creating a play area with enough space for your child to play and not be distracted. Turning off the TV, putting toys away, things like that. That's how you can help them play in the solitary play stage.
Parallel play is when your child plays alongside or near others, but doesn't play with them. This type of play is an important first step in learning to interact with others. This play helps children learn peer regulation, observation skills, working with and getting along with others, as well as working independently. During this play, kids are keeping an eye on each other while they play independently. Learning to copy and mimic others is a great skill at this stage. For parallel play, you should provide your child with toys that they know how to use appropriately already. These may include a tool set, trains, cars, blocks, a farm, a dollhouse, or another favorite play set. You can help your child develop their parallel play skills by putting out choices of several toys and different types of toys. Play alongside your child with a toy, giving them the option to play parallel to you. As your child gets more comfortable with this type of play, move them closer to another participant, such as a peer or a sibling. If they grab the other child's toy, calmly give it back and explain in simple language to your child that they need to ask. You can model asking for the toy for your child to later imitate. Interact with both children as a social model and praise your child when they take interest in their peer. Associative play is when your child plays alongside other children who are playing with similar toys and activities. They may start to talk or interact with one another, but won't organize or coordinate activities. The benefits of associative play include learning to work in groups, sharing, negotiating, problem solving, and learning to self-advocate. For example, your child may say, "Hey, that was my toy. May I have it back, please?" For associative play, you can use a variety of age-appropriate toys. Check the back side of toy boxes for appropriate age ranges for each toy. Examples of toys that can be used for associative play include trains, cars, trucks, dolls, dollhouses, dress-up clothes, kitchen toys, blocks, or Play-Doh. You can help your child with associative play by encouraging your child and being the person who plays with them first, but allow them to lead in the play. Model sharing and interacting skills for your child. Talk about what's happening as you play. For example, self-talk, to encourage communication. Cooperative play is when your child plays with others cooperatively and is interested in the other children and their shared activity. Children often assign roles for the activity and work together with a common goal. Being able to participate in cooperative play is extremely important and is the overall goal for your child. It means that your child has the skills they will need later to collaborate and cooperate at school and in other social settings. For cooperative play, you should use pretend play toys such as the kitchen, store, restaurant, construction area, blocks, large floor puzzles, art supplies, and dress-up clothes. You can also work on cooperative play outdoors by engaging in outdoor games and activities, such as the playground, tag, or red light, green light. You can help to facilitate cooperative play by setting out toys for the children to play with together. Have enough materials for everyone to participate. Model ways to communicate ideas with one another. For example, while playing with blocks, you can say, "We have so many blocks. What should we make together? Let's build a house. I'll make the bedroom. What part do you want to make?" Step back and be available to children if they need help, but let them take the lead and interact with one another. Let's learn a bit more about how to facilitate play at home.
With proper planning and preparation, facilitating play at home can be a giant boost for your child, cognitively and physically. As parents, you are the biggest supporters of your children's learning. The most important thing to do is to make sure you have as much time as possible for the child to play. This puts less stress on you as a parent and your child as well. Now, the play can also be free play for the child that does not involve the parent, and it also can be where the parent is a partner for the child as well during this play. Free play for the children helps to regulate their own thoughts, feelings, and behavior, while at the same time helping them explore, and you can help them do that. When planning students for play, adults have the ultimate control over a child's environment. By making sure you've created a fun, safe, and appropriate environment for your child to play in, you can help them grow. So this goes with actual planning of what the space looks like, the layout of the space, making sure there's enough room for the child to work in the space, as well as having the proper materials in the space, both materials such as toys that the child has played with before, is new to the child, as well as materials that might not be first consideration for play materials, such as things that you would find in your kitchen, things that you would find grocery shopping, things like that to add into the play, not only for your first play session, but to add into play sessions that come in the future, in future play planning. When creating a space or planning a space, be it indoor or outdoor, it is important to keep in mind the strengths and weaknesses of the child in order to enhance and make the play more successful. So this could mean in an outdoor space, this could mean physically, so this could mean a student not going to a structure that might be too hard for them, or a structure that is just challenging enough for them to where it is hard at first, but as they keep going, they would be able to be successful with it as it goes on. The same thing would happen in an indoor area where you would bring in materials for them that they love. So for instance, say they love pretend kitchen, you would have a pretend kitchen for them, and they would be very successful operating that pretend kitchen and having pretend play in that pretend kitchen. But perhaps they're not as interested in stuff from outside or stuff from nature, so you could bring in those materials, say an abandoned bird's nests or seeds or things from outside that they might not be interested in right now, but as time goes on, they might be more interested in those things as the play continues or as the weeks progress in that play. And the same thing goes for when facilitating play with children. It is important to be able to extend activities to them, asking cognitive questions, and being able to lead the questions to them, kind of building upon what they're already playing with, which would add to the knowledge that they're learning as the play goes on. When helping your child play, it may be tempting to control or to coordinate the play. But instead, letting your child come up with the play idea, choose the toys, and figure out how they are used allows them to explore and gain better understanding of how to play. So, as silly as it might be, whatever they come up with to play, going along with it and being enthusiastic about it and asking questions to them of what they would like the play to be will be the most beneficial to the play for the child. Same thing with getting down in their level, either at a table or on the floor, and making sure to play alongside the child so the child knows that you are actually engaged with them during play. Once you have conquered facilitating play with you and your child, you might want to dip into the world of play dates with other children of an appropriate age. To do so, you have to ensure your child is ready, that they can tolerate another child in their play space, that they're comfortable being with another child in another child's play space, and can play appropriately with toys. Keep at least the first play date short and sweet, and make sure that both caregivers are there. So you should not be alone with the other child, or you should not leave the child alone with your child alone with another adult. Share your child's need with the other caregivers, explaining if your child is still working on some play skills, such as taking turns but not limited to that. Put away favorite toys in advance to avoid conflict. So things that you either know that your child will share with another child, or things that they might not even be familiar with or have that much interest in, kind of to start the play date off on the right foot. If the play date goes well, make sure to give warnings to avoid sudden ending, such as providing warnings 15, 10, and 1 minute until the play date ends. Encourage children to clean up and model cleaning up as you help them. You can also engage in a cleanup song. For example, the one we use is clean up, everybody everywhere, clean up, everybody do your share. Make sure to not overstructure your playdate with planned activities, but instead give children the chance to make choices based on their interests during free play, as we talked about with facilitating play with your child.
Now we're going to talk about simple communication strategies that you can use while you're playing with your child. Social communication is an important part of language for play. It's important to understand which skills are expected early on, in the middle, and later in development. Early on, children learn how to take turns, play cooperatively, and engage in dramatic play. They can relate their own personal experiences, ideas, and feelings to others and show frustration if not understood. Then, children learn how to use language to resolve conflicts with peers, have emerging control of the elements of conversation, and imagine situations by using phrases such as, "what if," or "I hope." Later, children begin to use word plays. They ask questions to obtain information, make group decisions, assign play roles, and play more fairly than they had in the past. The +1 routine is a strategy to increase your child's utterance length. The goal is to model a phrase just one word longer in length than what your child says. This will help your child by exposing him or her to language just above his or her current level. You should repeat what your child says and add one word. You will not expect your child to repeat the longer phrase. Try to vary the type of word that you add. Don't just add please to the end of every sentence. Use this idea when your child has already initiated the conversation. They need to speak first, and you will just expand their utterance. Some types of word combinations include a noun plus a verb, such as Mama goes, an action plus an object, such as kickball, an action plus a location, such as go to bed, and a possessor plus possession, such as my ball. Other examples include a child saying bird and a parent expanding the phrase to be little bird. If a child says me up, the parent can expand the phrase to be pick me up. If a child says help, the parent can expand the phrase to be help me. If a child says no, the parent can expand the phrase to be no more. When you're playing with your child, it's important for him or her to use language spontaneously. It's really easy to ask your child questions all day long. This limits his or her use of language. Instead, focus on saying a statement. The 3-to-1 rule will help you reduce the number of questions you ask your child and increase the number of statements that you make. Try to play intentionally with your child using the 3-to-1 rule for a few minutes each day. Sit down with your child and his or her toys. While you play, make 3 comments for each question you ask. For example, when playing in the kitchen, make comments such as, I'm the chef. I made pancakes. Oh, that's cold. Pass the milk, please. Follow up with a question such as, do you want syrup? Build the 3-to-1 rule into your daily routine too. Make comments while you're giving your child a bath, reading a goodnight book, or when you're getting him or her dressed. Ready, set, go! It's a verbal routine you probably use every day with your child, but do you know why your child can fill in the word go at the end? Verbal routines are words that become predictable because you say them the same way in the same activities repeatedly. Using verbal routines over and over again allows your child predictable practice with a limited set of words. Soon, you can omit the last word from a sequence and they can fill in the blank. Common verbal routines include familiar songs and nursery rhymes. They can also include a made-up song you sing during an activity, like, wash, wash, wash your hands, make them nice and clean. Verbal routines can include phrases that you use in many different settings, such as counting 1, 2, 3, or saying, ready, set, go. Sometimes your verbal routines might be specific to your child. If you make up a silly saying while you build and crash blocks, say it over and over again. If your child likes a superhero, put his or her name in a rhyme about being a superhero. These will become verbal routines. The best way to improve your child's language is to talk to your child. It sounds simple, and it is. One of the best ways to model language is self-talk or parallel talk. Self-talk is when a parent talks about what the parent or child is doing. You should use an animated and excited voice to make it really fun and engaging. Self-talk can be done throughout normal daily routines, and many parents automatically use self-talk. When using self-talk, use short and simple language. Don't use baby talk, but keep your sentences at a level that your child understands. For example, during real or play pretend shopping, you can say, what do we need? We need bananas. I found them. They're yellow. I need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put them in the cart. Let's pay the cashier. Children need to hear and be exposed to thousands and thousands of words. The more words they hear and are exposed to, the more words they will use. If your child has several words in their vocabulary but isn't using them independently or spontaneously, try using the withholding strategy. Withholding is a simple strategy where you intentionally wait before you give your child something until he or she communicates with you. You know your child so well that you can anticipate most of their needs. Sometimes this limits the verbal communication your child needs to use throughout the day. When your child points to what they want, look at them and say, "Tell me what you want." Then, wait and see if your child responds. If they don't respond, you can give a verbal model such as, "I want milk." It is important to model the phrase that you want your child to say without using the word say. What I mean by that is, do not say to your child, "Say milk." Once your child responds appropriately, either verbally or non-verbally, depending on their level, give them what they want. This strategy works if your child has some words in their vocabulary already. For example, get your child engaged in an activity. Grab a laundry basket and a ball. Start shooting the ball into the basket. Be silly and make it fun. Once your child is really engaged and excited, grab the ball and hold it. Withhold the ball until your child asks for it by saying, "Ball, my turn," or something similar. Then you can give them the ball. Your child has the opportunity to speak all day, but sometimes opportunity isn't enough. Your child needs a motivating reason and/or a reward in order to communicate. Communication temptations set up the environment in a way that entices your child to make a request that results in a positive experience. With a highly desired activity, there is a high likelihood that he or she will ask for it again. There are thousands of ways to set up communication temptations. You just need to find something highly motivating so your child enjoys it. Start with bubbles. Get the type of bubbles that have a twisting lid that your child can't open without help. Hand them the bubbles, but don't anticipate their needs. Wait until he or she communicates to you that they need the lid unscrewed. Blow some bubbles and then put the lid back on. Let them ask again. If they can't blow bubbles without your help, you've got another communication temptation. Wait until they ask for you to blow them. Remember to keep it fun and avoid letting your child get frustrated. Other examples of toys that can become communication temptations are wind-up toys, balloons, snacks in pouches, toys that are stuck in a jar, and cause and effect games. Here are some tips for encouraging requesting during play. Instead of saying, "Tell me what you want," use your words, or demanding a label. Try to offer a choice of two to reduce pressure. Model the language, pause, and give an expectant look. Instead of giving your child every piece of a toy or snack all at one time, give one piece at a time to create more space for communication. Monitor your child's tolerance and frustration levels. Instead of getting frustrated by your child's lack of communication, please remember that pointing, reaching, grunts, and even looking in the direction of an item are all communication. Consider introducing a choice board by printing photos of items that your child might want to request. It's a good idea to keep the following communication strategies in mind while you're playing with your child. Be animated. Using silly behaviors, body language, and voices can help to engage your child. Establish joint attention. Use cues like "look," exclamations, and other things to establish your child's attention before communicating. Ask fair questions. Ask open-ended questions that do not have a wrong answer. Factual questions are okay sometimes, but try to be limited in your use of those. Find motivation. Know your child's interests and favorites and provide play and communication opportunities that surround those. Follow lead. Allow your child to initiate and lead the play and conversation. Minimize stress. Accept open-ended and nonverbal responses from your child and minimize pressure. Model. Rephrase and expand with grammatically correct language to improve your child's language skills. Power words. Use exciting and highly functional language that your child will need to use on a daily basis. Simplified language. Use simple but grammatical language. We want what we say in front of our children to be correct and appropriate models of adult speech. Waiting. Wait 5 to 10 seconds for a response before recasting or asking your child another question. Try to avoid asking for labels or telling your child to say something. You can ask your child, "What's this?" but limit the amount that you do that. Instead, label items for your child and let them hear those labels. The more they hear the labels, the better off they will be. Try to avoid using grammatically incorrect baby talk. Try to avoid bombarding your child with questions. This adds pressure to communication and will likely hinder your child's communication skills. Don't pressure your child to communicate or get frustrated when they don't communicate with you. Continue modeling and making language and play a positive experience. Try to avoid relying on electronic devices such as tablets, phones, and toys that make noises and have lights during play. I recommend taking the batteries out of toys that don't necessarily require them. You can make sounds with your mouth, such as while playing with the farm, you can make your own animal noises and sing songs such as Old MacDonald. This way, you are far more likely to facilitate your child's language development than you would if they were relying on an electronic device.
Now we are going to talk about what play looks like in the preschool classroom. Knowing how important it is for children to play, in West Windsor-Plainsboro, we use play-based preschools in our integrated and multiple disabilities preschool classrooms. This means that our preschools are child-centered, so the children choose their own preferred activities, which makes the classrooms more enjoyable because the children are interested and invested in the activities that they're doing. This also means that the children have a lot of unstructured time where they can explore the activities and the lessons that we have in the classroom without the pressure of knowing that they have to do something or switch to something else in the next few minutes. This does not mean that the classrooms are unstructured or that it is a free-for-all in the preschool classrooms. It just means that the children have large chunks of unstructured time where they can explore and learn. Our classrooms are also process-oriented. This means that the emphasis is on the process of what's going on, not the product. So there is an emphasis on how a child is learning, not what they are doing or what it looks like. It also means that for a lot of our activities, they're open-ended. There's no right way to complete an activity. Lastly, much in line with the entire district's focus on the whole child, our classrooms are holistic. This means that the children are developing all sorts of skills while they are engaged in a play-based preschool. They're developing especially social emotional intelligence, which is confidence, motivation, and attention skills, while learning their academics. What does a play-based preschool look like? And of course, the fear is that with the idea that the children would be playing and that there'd be a lot of unstructured time, is that the classroom would be a complete mess, a total free-for-all. But in fact, what it means is a play-based preschool has a lot of different areas where the children can explore and learn. So a play-based preschool has multiple areas for children to play, such as art, blocks, library, music, dramatic play, discovery, and kitchen or dramatic play area. This means that the children have a lot of opportunities to explore different concepts in different areas of the room. Wait, where are the academics? In a play-based preschool, the academics are actually everywhere. In a high-quality play-based preschool, academics are interwoven through each and every activity and area in the classroom. Children setting the table in the kitchen area are learning one-to-one correspondence and counting, while children in the art area are learning the scientific concepts of viscosity and how to make colors. Play is the most efficient way children learn and process information. So what are the teachers doing while the children are just playing? Well, this brings us to the teacher as the facilitator. Teachers are actively monitoring students while they're just playing. They are trained to support play by engaging or adding to the students' ideas. Teachers may be listening for student interest for the next classroom study or providing more materials for learning. Teachers are always available to assist with peer-to-peer negotiations to empower all students to solve their own problems, whether academic or social. The outcomes of play-based preschool. A high-quality play-based preschool program will help children acquire better problem-solving skills because they've had the opportunity to see problems and work through them on their own. They'll have better learning behaviors because they've learned how to sit with something and pay attention. Additionally, after being in a play-based preschool, the children will be able to more easily adjust to a school setting because they've been in school and they understand what school is about, and they'll also be ready to learn. Will my child be ready for kindergarten? Yes! Many studies demonstrate that children in play-based preschool programs perform well in elementary school. In fact, there is research to support that children in play-based programs not only have the academic skills needed for kindergarten, but also may be more advanced in the areas of intelligence, creativity, social skills, oral expression, and industry.
Thanks for watching. Now go have fun.